Brother Large, welcome back to Cossy Aston podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. It's a brand new week. There is a lot to happen at Arsenal in this week. We have 3 games to play in the USA. That is the Major League Soccer All-Star team, FC Barcelona and Manchester United, as the team has already arrived in the USA. We're going to be diving into the 29-man squad that Nikola has named, and some of the players that are actually training alone this week. We'll be talking about Thomas Partey. We'll be talking about Florian Balogun. Inter Milan today have actually told Arsenal we need the final conditions of this deal because we are serious about signing Florian Balogun this summer. We'll be talking about Tierney, who wants to go to Manchester City. Like, of all clubs, he wants to go to Manchester City. I want your thoughts here. I want your opinions. Do you think Arsenal should strengthen Manchester City by giving them Tierney? Now, we know that Tierney fits very well into what Pep Guardiola is trying to do. He's playing with 4 centre backs. He's no longer playing with inverted fullbacks. He's no longer playing with fullbacks that go high up the pitch. He's actually playing with centre backs that can play in midfield, but also at centre back. And I think Tierney has the ability to do that, especially to play in a back 3. According to what I've seen, Tierney prefers a move to Manchester City than a move to Aston Villa and to Newcastle as well. And of course, we'll talk about Arsenal. They were prepared to pay 80 million for Declan Rice, and Manchester City skyrocketed the price. We'll be diving into that as well. But hit the like button, and what are your thoughts on that big man, Tierney, crossing over to Manchester City? Now, yesterday on Sunday, the team traveled for their week of action in the USA. 29 players were actually called up by Mikel Arteta, and this is the 29-man squad. Aaron Ramsdale, William Saliba, Tierney, Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Jurrien Timber, Alex Rennesson. Just don't understand why Alex Rennesson is part of this team. Edin Ketia, Jakub Kivior, Rob Holding, Takero Tomiyasu, Leandro Trossard, Jorginho, Fabinho, Mohamed Elneny, Florian Balogun, Marquinhos, Kai Havertz, Karl Hein, Austin Trusty. We've not seen much of Austin Trusty, but I would love to see him probably this preseason and even probably next season. Alexander Zinchenko, Declan Rice, and Omario Kozia-Doubre. Those are the 29-man men squad that have actually traveled to the USA. And according to the Aston website, we expect Emile Smith-Rowe and Thomas Partey to join us next week. The players who are not part of the squad will be working hard on their fitness and recovering from injury as well. So that is the confirmation of the 29-man squad that has actually traveled to the USA to play those 3 games on the 22nd, on the 19th, on the 22nd, and also on the 26th of this month. Okay. Now, Nikola Pepe is training alone. Now, it's a story that I've seen today. He's majorly training alone. Mikel Arteta does not have him in his plans, and he's been told to find a club. He's been told to find somewhere else to play football. He won't be integrated into the squad. He won't be reintegrated into the squad after his loan spell ended in France. He's actually training alone most of the time. Now, this is something I don't really understand. Being reintegrated, I think there's so many other players that are going to leave. I think Tierney is going to leave. I think Rob Holding is going to leave. I think all these other players that we've been talking about, Partey and the others, will be leaving. But why is Nikola Pepe training alone? Why is he isolated? I'm not really sure about that, but of course, when I get something more, I will tell you. Now, another player that has actually not been that is not in the squad is Nuno Tavares. Actually, Nuno Tavares will not stay with Arsenal. I've seen that Mikel Arteta is concerned with his discipline. There are issues with his discipline, so he won't stay with Arsenal starting this campaign. So that is also something to be considered. He will not be with Aston next campaign. There are concerns with the discipline, especially at Marseille, and Arsenal consider him a player for sale. 20 to 25 million euros should get the deal done. West Ham, one of the clubs interested in the services of Nuno Tavares this summer. Now, in the transfer market, Arsenal, of course, our market is looking at sales. You would expect us to be focusing on getting players out and bringing some money in. And the number one player for us to talk about is Tierney in this video. So, Tierney favors a move away from Arsenal this summer. He still thinks that he doesn't have a starter role. He still thinks that his role at the club at the moment is more of a menage. So he prefers to go away from the club. He prefers to go to a club where he's going to be appreciated and where he's going to play more minutes. Manchester City is among the suitors. Newcastle and Aston Villa are among the suitors of the young, not really young, but of the Scottish international. But he prefers to go to Manchester City. I just don't understand it. I really don't understand. It's either Pep Guardiola has gotten to him. I think Pep and Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta, they have that effect. They can talk to a player and they can get into his skin and they will definitely attract him to their side. But if Pep Guardiola has not actually gotten to him, with Nathan Ake, Manuel Akanji, Aymeric Laporte, Josko Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz, and John Stones, where is Tierney going to play at Manchester City? Why would he want to go to Manchester City? If he's going away from Arsenal due to competition and the fact that the manager is playing a system that he doesn't understand or a system that doesn't suit his football, I understand that. It's 100% clear in my skull. But him going to Manchester City, where there are almost 7-8 defenders ahead of him in pecking order, 7-8 defenders that are much better than him, I would never understand that. I would really never understand that. Now, I'm a big Tierney fan, and I've tried to reason with him right from the start. Like, since last season, before the end of the season, I said Mikel Arteta has not treated him fairly. There are times when Alexander Zinchenko picked up an injury and we played Takara Tomiyasu. There are times when Zinchenko was not fit and we played a back three without Tierney. There are times when Tierney was given a chance and we took him off the pitch, not even having a bad game. So I think he wasn't treated well, and Mikel Arteta has to work on his skills of rotating players. I think he needs to learn more from Pep Guardiola, because Guardiola last season gave 21 games to Manuel Akanji, and the rest of the other defenders also had stats very close to Manuel Akanji's. I think with Mikel Arteta, he wants Gabriel Magalhaes to play as many games as he can, William Saliba to play as many games as he can, and then the rest of the players are actually left out. So I understand why Tierney wants to go. He's 26, 27. That is your prime as a defender. That is your prime as a fullback. He is explosive. He is electric. So that is the time when he can use his energy to make a career for himself. But I would see him go to Aston Villa. But I would see him to go to Newcastle. Okay, if he wants to stay in UCL positions, Newcastle is a very good shot. I think they have a very good manager and a very good project going on there. Eddie Howe is one of the managers that they are undisputedly very good, right? Undisputedly. Of course, the legacy of Pep Guardiola is unprecedented. Every player would love to play under Pep Guardiola. There's no question about that. And having played under Mikel Arteta, he would be very, very curious about what is it like to play for the best manager. If this is what Mikel Arteta does, if Mikel Arteta takes Arsenal from 8th to 2nd, what about playing for a manager like Pep Guardiola? But for me, this is going to be some kind of betrayal. I don't think we should strengthen Manchester City in any way, shape, or form. What we should be doing is rivaling City every single day at every single opportunity. Like we did with Declan Rice, like we did with players like, Jesus, Zinchenko. If we can take a player out of City, we should do that. If we can keep a player from joining Manchester City, we should definitely do that. But Kieran Tierney sees himself as a future Manchester City player, and he would love the move should Manchester City actually move in to sign him. Now, this week, according to the Mirror, Thomas Partey is actually edging closer to exiting Arsenal Football Club. Last week we had talks about a deal being agreed between Thomas Partey and a Saudi Arabian Pro League. Now, this week on this Monday, the Mirror are saying that Thomas Partey's future at Arsenal is actually on the decline. They don't see him stay at the club. I don't see him stay at the club as well. It's much more like he's going to leave. That is where we are with Thomas Partey. Inter Milan have told Arsenal to give them the final conditions of the deal for Florian Balogun. They want to pay up to 40 million euros, and this week is going to be a very crucial one. According to Sky Sports, Arsenal have already told Inter Milan it will cost 50 million pounds to get the deal done. And finally, Arsenal massively overpaid their expectations, massively blew their expectation of the price for Declan Rice. It has been revealed today. Arsenal only wanted to pay 80 million for Declan Rice. However, Manchester City coming in with a 90 million deal. Arsenal are forced to go 15 million more in order to get the deal done. And that's why Manchester City actually walked away, because initially City and Arsenal thought the player is worth around 80 to 85 million pounds. However, Manchester City wanted to beat Arsenal to the competition, so they went a little bit high with 90. Arsenal also wanted to beat Manchester City, and we went 105. So West Ham consider themselves lucky, like two high bidders that are willing to get Rice over the line, and somehow we overpaid. We massively overpaid our expectation. Not overpaid for the player, but we overpaid according to what we had expected to pay for the services of the player.